Your problems a lot of times are actually propelling you towards your goals. And when you run from them, you're not necessarily running the right way.
I remember Wayne Dyer said this: you do not ever really solve a problem, you transcend it. You outgrow it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was last week's live Q&A. How do you use comparison in a healthy way?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't read there for a second. Today, episode number 739, Stop Running from Your Problems. It is wild to me. It feels like we just crossed 700 episodes, and now we're at 739. We are grateful to be doing 7 episodes a week now, so NLU in your pocket every single day.
Every day.
Every day. Stop running from your problems. Why are we talking about this?
All right. So with coaching, speaking, podcasting, we meet a lot of people. We get to dig deep with a lot of people. And a lot of people, from the outside looking in, you can only see the top of the iceberg, but there's so much depth to human beings. All of us are so unique, but we all have certain fundamentals. And one of the common denominators in everyone's life is that everyone goes through problems. Everyone has challenges. Everyone. There's no one who doesn't. The difference is, how good are you at identifying and rectifying challenges, identifying and rectifying problems? And I think that some people, I remember I heard a Tony Robbins quote where he said this. He said, your biggest problem, everyone in this room, I think there was thousands of people in this room when he was giving this speech. Everyone in this room's biggest problem, I can tell you it right now, you think you shouldn't have any. If you're listening to this right now, if you have a deep belief that you shouldn't have problems, you shouldn't have challenges, I'm telling you that is a broken paradigm. Life is not easy. It never was. It wasn't supposed to. Life is not fair. And you don't want to fall into what Matthew McConaughey calls the entitlement trap. And that trap is basically feeling like you're a victim. Bad things have happened to me. Bad things have happened to Kevin. Bad things have happened to everybody. The question is not whether or not bad things are going to happen. If you're out there right now, I say this on other podcasts all the time. If you're out there right now, I have a certainty for you. Absolute certainty. You have adversity in your future. Kevin has adversity in his future. I have adversity in my future.
Damn.
There's going to be a health challenge. There's going to be a family challenge. There's going to be a fitness challenge. There's going to be a wealth challenge. There's going to be a business challenge. There's going to be challenges in our future. There's only one question. What are you going to do when those challenges come up? So the analogy I wanted to use for this, and Kevin warned me not to use Michael Jordan again, but basically, because he's known as, quote unquote, the best basketball player to ever live, it's important to use him. Michael Jordan never had a perfect basketball game. It doesn't exist. He never once stepped off that court and was like, that's a perfect game. He just got better and better and better at basketball. So you're never going to have a perfect day or a perfect week or a perfect month or a perfect year or a perfect decade or a perfect life. It does not exist. It's not real. It's a mythical fairy tale land. What you will have is better days, better weeks, better months, better quarters, better years, better decades, better life. I am not problemless. I'm just better at identifying and solving problems, and that's why my life has gotten better. The quality of your problems can get better as long as you can keep solving them. Very last thing, before we'll kind of pitch it back and forth here, Kevin and I use this simple little analogy. So Emilia and I have a 2-car garage in our new home, and I'm parked on the left garage bay, if you call it that. And when we first moved in, we had a bunch of boxes and stuff that were in the sort of around the corners of the garage. And it's really hard for me to put my bag. I always have 2 bags on me. I have my backpack with my laptop in it and all that, and then I have my gym bag always. And I'm going to put them in the back seat so that I can get in the driver's side. There's this big box that was always in the way of my rear driver's side door. And every single time it would be so hard for me to squeeze through and get my bags in there. And normally I'm on a time schedule, sometimes late, sometimes not. And normally I don't have a lot of time to start moving boxes in the middle of my, trip to the studio. And one time I just got so frustrated. I'm like, you know what? I'm so frustrated. Let me turn this into fascination. Let me turn this fascination into transformation. I'm just going to fucking move these boxes. Pardon my French.
Fired up
about the boxes.
Must have been a Monday.
I'm going to move these. Yeah, right. I'm going to move these boxes so that next time I don't have this bottleneck. I don't have this issue. And so now I moved the boxes. Now I can open my car door, put my bags in it. That's just one example. Another small example, I brush my teeth in the shower. I always have my toothbrush in the shower with me. I shower usually twice a day. Not always, but usually. Once in the morning, once after the gym at night, before I go to bed. That is solving a problem. I used to forget to brush my teeth. Now I never forget because it's right in front of me in the shower. So how good are you at identifying and solving problems, not just in your personal life, but in your career, in your business, in your fitness, and everything?
Problems are a great opportunity at the end of the day. So for those of you who listened to last week's episodes, well, Sunday, I was on Dr. Tara McCarthy's podcast, The Business of Happiness. I went to her house to help her set up her podcast studio. And I had her order the same equipment we have. It's a different camera, but she has the same microphone. She has the same cables. She has similar microphone arms. She has the mixer we have. She has the headphones we have. She has everything that we have. And the mixer, so for those of you who don't know, all the mixer does is we plug the microphones in there so we can have 4 microphones run at the same time. We have our headphones connected to that so we can hear each other in the microphones as well as the guests. And that all plugs into my laptop through a USB port. Simple. They switched it. So the mixer is now the version 3.0. We have the version 2.0. So when I got there and I opened the box, I was like, interesting. This is not the same one we have. Let me see what I can do. So I set it up.
Engineer Jeff.
I set it up. Yeah, we're engineering out here. And it didn't work the first time. And I was like, all right, let me see what's going on here. Okay, we have to download a driver for her laptop because she has a Mac. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Downloaded the driver. Okay, it still doesn't work. Okay, what's going on here? The input's right. This is chosen. Okay, this isn't working. Okay, cool. We end up getting down to the last thing. Okay, I run through it one more time. There's about 100 buttons on our mixer, as you know. And I just changed 2 buttons and it worked.
Nice.
Okay. I set up the second microphone. So it's the same process. You just plug it in and make sure all the buttons are the same. Boom. That took me all of a minute. We did the interview. Everything was amazing. I get on a call the week after with another one of my clients who just is doing the same thing, but he lives in, I don't know, somewhere in the Midwest. So I didn't go out there to help him, but I knew exactly what to do. I knew what buttons to hit.
Yeah.
The perceived problem is now an opportunity for me to serve at a higher level. And the first time I ever went to somebody's house to set up the mixer that we have, there was all these Jeffings. I had to order a bunch of different plugs and cables, and I ended up realizing that one of the buttons was just not in the right setting. That's something now, that problem that I could have run from and said, like, honestly...
Can you buy like a whole new power strip?
I bought, it's the one that we have back there.
Yeah.
It's like...
That's another idea. So Kevin, just to bring you behind the scenes, he didn't know the solution back then, but we tried a bunch of stuff. We experimented.
Yeah.
And he talked to me about it, blah, blah, blah. And we bought a new power strip. That thing was like $70 or something. It's a
really
nice power strip. And now we use it. And we can now, not only does Kevin know how to be more effective to solve these problems for our clients because he solved them for us, but now we also got to repurpose that power strip in another place.
Yeah.
And it is actually a better one because I remember we were getting noise when we were using a different power strip. And that's another example of how identifying and rectifying problems has a positive ripple effect way beyond the problem at the time.
And the problem is only the problem once if you figure out the solution.
Exactly.
So
like the boxes.
Like the boxes, yeah. the effing boxes.
Yeah.
We, for Next Level Podcast Solutions, have started a new service where we're getting people on podcasts.
Yeah.
So we're finding the people, we're sending the messages, we're getting the calendar invite, and all they have to do is show up. Awesome. Alessandro is heading that up. Alessandro is helping us with that. The first client is the biggest, not the person, but the process is the biggest pain in the butt because you're figuring out all the problems. Mm-hmm. You have 2 options. You figure out the solutions or you stop doing it. If we ran from the problem, that would be a lot of potential opportunity, money, impact, connections, because we're going to be connecting with these people. That would be a lot of missed opportunity. We're going to figure out how to do it. We're going to figure out what is the main problem at this part of this process and fix that. And then we'll do it to the next one, and we'll do it to the next one. The next time we bring a client in, we already have the system that works. So that problem is only a problem once as long as you do it right. Then it becomes a tool. Your problems become tools after you fix them, and then you can use them for a similar use later.
Literally. It becomes, I used to say this often, the dark holes you find yourself in the skills and insights and tools needed to develop in order to climb out of those dark holes actually build skyscrapers. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, is that every problem in your life, Emilia and I do relationship coaching, and we have 3 clients right now, 3 different couples doing awesome.
Get this out of there.
Yeah. 3 different couples doing awesome. The truth of the matter is we're helping them identify and solve problems that her and I have already solved. And that doesn't mean you won't have recurring challenges. So, for example, insecurity in a relationship. That we talked about recently. That is going to happen over and over and over again, but you're going to be better and better and better at solving it, identifying and rectifying it. And that's the point, kind of. We aren't perfect audio people. We aren't perfect podcasters. We aren't perfect coaches. We aren't perfect businessmen. We aren't perfect, boyfriends. We're just better boyfriends than we used to be.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We aren't perfect fiancés. That's the first time I've ever said that.
Right? I'm going to have to get used to that.
You're a fiancé.
Is that what it is?
Are you a fiancé?
I don't know how it goes. I'm going to have to do some research before I start blabbering next
Vive la France.
Vive la France.
I don't know if that's from...
Parlez-vous français?
And welcome to the...
Next Level French University.
Yeah,
podcast.
Exactly. We aren't perfect anything. What we are is better than we used to be. And I can't... I remember one time, I used to say this often. I remember I was talking to one of my best friend at the time's mothers, and she said, Alan, everyone puts their best foot forward. And I remember saying, yes, that's true, but not everyone betters the foot. Not everyone betters their best. Everyone does their best. Our first episode sucked, in my opinion. Kevin had me on. I was late. It wasn't a good interview. I did my best. Genuinely, my best just sucked in comparison. Kevin did his best too. I'm going to be completely honest.
I was great.
His best sucked. In my opinion, we weren't good. But we would never be who and where we are today if we didn't do that. And so it's important to understand that you're never going to get to that land of perfect. You're never going to get to that land where you don't have problems. And you're never going to get to that land where you don't have challenges. And I also just want to say this as well. When you have success, you actually have bigger challenges. Certain old challenges go away, and I'll give you an example. So Kevin and I, let's say we get 3 more high-ticket clients at Next Level Podcast Solutions. Okay, some of our money challenges get better, but you know what gets really hard? Managing a bigger team, leading a bigger, more effective team.
Yeah,
providing value at a higher level, right? When you get into the NFL or the NBA or the Olympics, it's not easier. It's actually harder. And I think that's actually something that maybe we'll do a full episode on at some point, but I actually think that's the number one misbelief in this industry, is that people believe that when they get successful, their life will have less challenges. It's actually not true. If you're out there right now and you don't lead a team and you don't have multiple businesses and you don't have a family or kids and you don't have a home, you don't have as many challenges as someone who does all those things. And their life appears easier. Trust me, it's not. They're just better at it. Huge success. Emilia and I moved into a new home. Amazing. Love it. Absolutely fire. But now we have projects constantly. I mean, we have to redo the basement in terms of the insulation. We have to paint the deck. And the maintenance. There's just our life didn't get easier. It actually got more challenging, but also some things did get easier as well. Less distractions, more optimized household, dishwasher and all that. And I think it's important to understand that life is a constant progression of identifying and overcoming challenges. I remember Wayne Dyer said this: you do not ever really solve a problem, you transcend it. You outgrow it.
Hi, my name is David London, and I'm the host of the Deskbound Therapy podcast. I've been working with Alan and Kevin for the last 2 months with both business coaching and podcast coaching, and I've seen tremendous value and growth, not only in my business, but in my personal life and in my relationships, because their coaching has taught me to focus on so much more than just the business itself. It's really helped me level up, and every time things are going well, they really continually push me to reach the next level, and I definitely recommend working with them. They're such great people to work together. I have both met them personally, in person at a live event, and gotten the opportunity to work with them closely online and communicate with them. And I listen to the podcast every day, so I definitely recommend checking out the podcast. Check out their business coaching or their, even just life coaching if you want to level up your mindset and your game and just be happier and healthier. Definitely recommend both Alan and Kevin at Next Level University.
I was on a call with a Relationship Talks client recently, and they were going through something. I'll keep this private, but basically what this person said is that their partner had breached trust with them because they were texting another person. And this person asked me, like, what would you do if Emilia did that? And I was completely transparent. I was completely blunt. I was completely explicit. I was completely honest. I said, honestly, I don't believe that would happen with Emilia. Emilia doesn't have extra time to be talking to random people. I said, I think that's a challenge that Emilia has transcended. I think that's a challenge that Emilia and I have transcended. We aren't like randomly flirting with other people because we're not like that. It's not that. Basically what I said was that challenge is not conducive to where we're at in our life. Now, is it possible I'm wrong about that? Of course, but I seriously doubt it. And so I was just transparent. I was like, that's a drama type of problem that wouldn't exist in a relationship of our caliber. And that's me just being completely transparent. And as arrogant or egotistical as that might sound, the truth of the matter is, in past relationships, that was a thing. I remember I had a relationship when I was in high school, and we would be flirting with other people, and that was the level we used to play at. That was a problem in our relationship. Now, Emilia and I have bigger challenges that have nothing to do with stuff like that. And I think that's the best kind of frame to look through.
We have a person who is potentially going to be a client of ours, pretty good chance. This person is making $100,000 a month and on the way up to making $125,000 to $150,000 a month. This person has problems. They have different issues, particularly with their team and their business. Like, there is always something that is going to have your attention. And I think of it like this. You've spoken very highly and been very complimentary, that's a great word, of my sales acumen and my ability to do sales lately, and I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate that.
Come way up.
I appreciate that, and I've learned most of that from you, so I'm grateful for you. But all we have to do is look back to the past 2 Christmases when I couldn't afford to buy presents for Taryn. That's where it came from.
Yeah.
That's where it came from was my problem, right? The problem that I could either run from or try to solve was I'm not making enough money in my side of the business. Right? This was before Alan and I were combined with the business and we were really doing this together. We were doing separate coaching, so it didn't make sense to have all of our finances combined. But there was 2 options. It was one.
It definitely didn't make sense for me. I'm just joking.
Oh, my Lord.
No, I'm kidding.
We had 2 options.
Gotta have fun.
I could either say, honestly, this thing isn't like this sales thing, this podcast thing, this entrepreneurial thing isn't for me. Like, this just isn't for me. And I could have gone back to doing something else. Or I could figure out what is the problem and how do I fix it. And that's really one of my main focuses has been, okay, what are the books I can read? What do I need to know about sales? What are the things I'm uncomfortable with? What are the things I'm insecure with? Like, what are the actual problems here that I can shed some light on, that I can put some energy to, that I can fix? And then here we are, almost a year, coming up on a year later very shortly, where we have a multiple 6-figure business. Now, that's one of the reasons, because we had a huge problem to solve.
Right.
We were broke.
And didn't run from it.
And we didn't run from it. Because if we ran from it, we wouldn't be able to run towards our goals. You can't, you know what I mean? Your problems a lot of times are actually propelling you towards your goals. And when you run from them, you're not necessarily running the right way. I'm not saying you have to run at them, but you have to run with them. You can't just run away from them. We all have problems. And it's one of those, this is a difficult conversation I don't want to have. That's a problem that if you run from, that problem will continue. Mm-hmm. It's not going to fix itself. And we all have some form of that in our lives. Difficult conversation, money problems, self-love problems, self-belief, self-esteem, whatever it may be. And if you continue to run from it, you will continue to get the same results. But you have to be honest with yourself of, look, I'm not happy with the results I'm getting. This is my current result. These are the problems that are creating or not creating my current result. What am I willing to do about it? And what am I committed to doing about it? You can be committed to running, but it's not going to fix your problems like turning around and facing them will.
What do you think is most important I think So I think the most important piece here is realizing that idea of your future, if you're out there listening right now, this idea of this ideal future of like, once I get this job, or once I get my person, or once I get married, or once I get a home, like you have this idea in your head that your problems will go away. Some of your existing problems will get better, but it will bring new challenges. So that's what I think is the most important thing to really get across. If you're waiting for that promotion or that house or whatever to solve your problems, that's a mythical land that doesn't exist. But for you, Kev, what do you think is the next most important takeaway from this episode?
Specific problems don't get fixed until you focus on them, I think. I just think for me it was like, and I reference business and money a lot because that's been a focus of mine, and I know a lot of people struggle with that, particularly if they're in their own business. I assumed, well, this time next year things will be different, just naturally. And like things will be different naturally, but if the problems that you're focused on are a deeper problem that's created by something else, the problem won't fix itself until you create the actual root cause.
Give me an example.
For me, the money problems I had were just deep-seated old patterns.
Oh, remember when we had that really hard talk where I said that, and we'll bring you behind the scenes here because this is important. I think there's 3 master skills to finance. Simple, very challenging, but simple, if that makes sense. The first one is learn how to make more money. I actually think you're good at that.
I feel like I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, you're very good at that. He wasn't good at the other 2. And this was a hard conversation where I had to like help him realize this. The second one is get really good at spending less money. First one, get really good at making more money. Second one, get really good at spending less money. That's the one that you weren't very good at. And then the third one is learn how to invest the difference intelligently. I teach my clients this stuff all the time. If someone is out there and you're really good at earning more money, really good at spending very little money, and really good at intelligently investing the difference, you're going to be wealthy for the rest of your life, period. There's no exception. And you'll get more and more and more wealthy. You'll still have challenges, but you'll be wealthy. If someone's really bad at making more money, bad at spending less money, and bad at investing, you're not going to be wealthy no matter what you do. And so Kevin just didn't identify the right root cause. Yep. You didn't know that your money challenges actually had more to do with the fact that you were good at spending, not as good. Yeah. You were good at making, but you were also good at spending.
And I assumed the more money I made, the more wiggle room I would have. When in reality, the more money I made, I always found a way to close the gap. Yep. Always.
Yep.
Which
is just a habit. It's just a habit.
And that's still something.
It's a pattern, yeah.
Still something I'm unconditioning from. I think I've definitely gotten way better at it, but it's still, that's a problem that I will be fixing for the foreseeable future. And that's a great problem
technically
to fix.
Forever.
Yeah.
You'll be mastering that forever.
Yeah. And we all have those. We talked about insecurities earlier this week. Like for some people, you can either run from that insecurity or that's a problem that you can try to solve. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to Jeff. It's okay to have problems. I think the goal is just not to have them twice.
This also has to do with
the same level twice.
Yeah.
Because you
at
you
the
will
same
have
level
them.
twice.
You
Because you'll have them. Yeah, having difficult conversations in your intimate relationship that will always happen forever. But you'll get better at it. In the last episode, we talked about insecurity. I think there's a correlation between.
Not the last episode.
Oh.
2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago.
737.
Yes. So 2 episodes ago, we talked about what is it? Overcoming your insecurities. I think there's a correlation between insecurity and blind spots. I think that if you have a deep... so this is a good example. So I don't know much about cars, but if my check engine light goes on, that means there's a problem. I have to know enough about cars to identify the root cause of the issue and then solve it. So let's imagine I have a flat tire and my air pressure light goes on in my Subaru Legacy, which has happened, by the way. And then I suddenly go and change the oil. It's like, that's the wrong approach. That the oil's not the problem. Right. The flat tire is the problem. I think a lot of people do that in their life because they're insecure about the flat tire, if that makes sense. They don't identify the root cause because they don't want to face it. They're running from those insecurities and running from their problems. So hopefully this helped everybody. I think it's one of the most powerful. If you get good at identifying and rectifying problems and improving along the way, I mean, your life will get better and better and better. And that whole age-old, like the best years of your life are your high school years. Like that's just crap. It's not true for someone who's willing to get better and better and better.
Better and better and better at solving problems.
Yeah.
Because the problems you get later in life, and again, we're in our 30s, our early 30s, so I wouldn't say later in life, but my problems now are just way more serious. Of like, when I was 16, and my biggest problem was what I was going to do Friday night or Saturday night.
Right.
So it's just the quality of my problems are far different, but the weight of them is also heavier.
Yes.
When you have a household and you have a partner and you have pets or you have children, you have a business, you have whatever, medical issues, like that's some heavy stuff. But what will the solution force you to become? And that's what I would ask yourself when it comes to problems. When I come across a problem now, it's way different than it ever was. It's still difficult, 1,000%, but the way I approach it is like, okay, what is there to learn here? There's so much to learn here so I can avoid this in the future, particularly if this is something that I want to continue doing. If you want to keep doing it, get the early problems out of the way early. And you'll know, like, okay, that's thin ice. I don't step there. You're going to fall through somewhere else, but like it won't be in the same place. And that's okay. Just avoid the holes you've already stepped in.
An analogy that I think will land for everyone, and then we will go.
We will go.
There's a reason your iPhone updates. There's a reason why there's a new iPhone every year, because they're identifying and solving problems. Right now, I have an iPhone. Kevin has an iPhone. I would love it. I would love it if iOS, Apple, if you're listening, please let it so that I can mark my text as unread. Huge problem in my life, because if I read a text but can't respond yet, I don't want it to fall down the rabbit hole.
Forget about it.
See, that's something they haven't identified, and therefore they haven't rectified yet. Maybe I should write them a little letter. But that's just another example of every time there's an iOS update, guess what happens? Old problems were solved and new problems were created. When Zoom upgraded, a bunch of things were solved, but it actually started messing up my coaching calls for a while there. So just like a computer program that has bugs that are constantly being solved, that's what your life is. Maybe your life just has bugs that need to be upgraded. And I think that's important to understand is the upgraded version of you, next level you. That's what we're talking about. If you want a better life, you're going to have to upgrade your health, your wealth, and your love, and you're going to have to upgrade your mindset. You're going to have to upgrade your self-esteem. You're going to have to upgrade your capabilities and your skills. You're going to have to upgrade your self-belief, and that's what we're helping you do every single day.
Every single day.
Every
7
single
episodes
day.
a week.
All the time.
We're here for it.
Always.
We're here for it. Our next episode, Alan.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be... No, I don't call you Alan on here. Number 740, we're going to do another strategic Saturday because we got some love on the last one. The keys to lasting motivation. Alan has a framework or something that we're going to go through.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it'll be great. As always,
wow.
If you have a podcast and you want to grow it, scale it, monetize it, please reach out to me. If you want to start a podcast and you have no idea where to start, I have started many, many shows at this point and helped people with every single step. We're 740 episodes in, so we know our way around the mic.
We've identified and rectified many problems.
Many, many problems. But reach out to me if podcasting is your jam.
Business as well, many different industries, many different clients all over the world, Australia, Italy, all that awesome stuff. If you want to identify and rectify problems more quickly than I did, more quickly than Kevin did, please reach out to us. We also have Next Level Web Solutions, Next Level Business Solutions, Next Level Podcast Solutions. So whether you want to start a podcast and make it a business, or you want to start a business and need a website, or any combination there in between, please reach out to us. We are here to help you get to the next level. That's what we do. That's all we do. We're not going to help you fix your car, but we will help you change your life.
And February 19th, 2022.
Oh, yeah.
As of right now.
Next Level Live.
Next Level live in Worcester, Massachusetts. We're locking down details, but mark the calendar. Schedule yourself as I can't do anything. We're gonna come out to Worcester to see Next Level You, and I'm sure we'll have some amazing, amazing speakers because we are blessed to have a lot of amazing people in our life. As always, we love you, we appreciate you, and we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.